Good morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Sue. Here we are on the hill again in bright, bright sunshine.
Yes, isn't it glorious?
It is, though. It's a fantastic morning. So we've already been chatting a little bit, and I think a theme emerged in the last few minutes. The writer's journey from that sort of first spark of an idea to getting something out there and celebrating. So would you like to say something about ideas that might be forming in your mind?
Oh, okay. I know you've done a lot this week, so I was going to ask you about your journey, but I'll share a little first, if you like.
Yeah.
I read this magazine from time to time. I get it monthly. It's called Resurgence and Ecologist. And just before you arrived, I was reading this article called Dare to Dream. And that's often where my stories start, in this little processing. And this story, in fact, is about the Eden Project, which I visited in the UK in 2001, and it had not long opened. And I was excited about this because they're celebrating, the last 25 years in March this month. But they've also opened an Eden project, an Oriental Eden project in China, in Lancashire, or they're building new projects in Lancashire, and one in Dundee, Scotland. And I thought, wouldn't it be a wonderful travel project to go back to the Eden project 25 years later? Because I was different then. I'd be looking for different things now. I was excited then, but I'd be even more excited now to see the changes. And then to visit, Morecambe, Lancashire, and Dundee in Scotland, and then to go to China.
Yeah,
to see all of these.
That sounds like a cool project.
So this is how it starts in my head, and
Yeah.
I'll do some research on what the Eden Project is doing now, and I'll look into these other two and see whether a visit is possible. And even if the visit isn't possible, it's a start, it's a dream. And
Yes.
that's how it starts with me. I get really excited, and then something flourishes. It may flourish into an article, it may flourish into 4 articles. So that's the plan.
But I think I work in a similar way. I get influenced by what I'm reading, and it starts with a dream. So, like in my case, a few years ago now, I read about work being done in Mozambique at the Gorongosa National Park, funded partly by this millionaire from Idaho, Greg Carr, who spends part of his year living there in Mozambique. And I just thought, boy, that's a good story. And it provided some of the stimulus for me to get out there to Mozambique. And the big thing for me in the past week has been a book launch that I had in London last Friday to officially put this book out into the world, Letters from Mozambique. So shall I say a little bit about
that would be wonderful,
about the book
'cause
launch?
I know you've been at the Africa Centre.
That's right. It was in the Africa Centre in London. So it was a very happy occasion. The book was officially published back in January, but my daughters Megan and Rachel played a big part in the design of this book. So I'll just show it again. So the cover was done by Megan, and Megan and Rachel, between them, did the illustrations. And they move around a lot. They're young and they want to see the world. So I deliberately chose late March as a good time. I've got 3 daughters, and happily they were all able to come with their partners. So there was a family dimension to the event at the Africa Centre. Also, there was a very strong sort of professional journalistic dimension. I do firmly believe with book launches that there should be a variety of voices. So I put together a panel of 2 women, 2 men, all journalists, and all with knowledge of Africa. And the moderator was a very, very good friend of mine, also a professional journalist. So it was like yeah, in organizational terms, it was a gathering of energy of several journalists, and some very distinguished journalists came, which pleased me immensely, and then old friends came as well, and we did manage to get a diversity of voices. So at one point there was a woman in the audience who knows Mozambique well, and she made a very powerful intervention about what was happening in Manica province, which is kind of central Mozambique, I suppose, and she painted this extraordinary word picture of how a few years ago it had been a real kind of just a place where they were growing lots of fruit, peaches, and it was a kind of a market garden kind of province, and now with illegal gold prospecting, it's been spoiled, and there's mercury in the rivers, so not a happy story, but she was very, very eloquent, and she was a voice speaking from direct experience. So all in all, it was just a wonderful celebration, and in the room you could sense the knowledge about the country.
Yes.
I mean, clearly there's a commercial element. One wants to sell some books, and I did, but there was very powerfully this social celebratory dimension, which gave me joy.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what else have you done? Because I think you've been giving talks here, there, and everywhere. Didn't you give one in Lisbon this week as well? I
gave one in Lisbon yesterday to Americans who might move to Portugal, and
nice.
I found one of the people organising the event had been born in Mozambique, and I sold a copy to him as well. So no, it's been a good few days.
Excellent.